3, 2, 1. Sardonicast here, the internet's busiest movie podcast. And it's time for me to introduce who's all here. I am Adam from YMS. Who else is here with me right now?
Anthony from the Needle Drop.
Hell yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Wow.
I jumped in. I took charge.
He fucking sniped you. You betas.
Well, we always argue about who goes first. So.
That's true. We're too polite.
I jumped in.
I'm Alex,
Alex,
from I Hate Everything, and finally...
I'm Ralph from Ralph the Movie Maker, youtube.com/Ralph the Movie Maker. Do that every week, too.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody?
It's annoying.
How are we all doing?
How we doing, boys? I'm pretty good.
Had an interesting week. Not really. So how does it feel to be our first podcast guest?
Oh, it feels
Ralph?
pretty good. I'm pretty excited to be surrounded by such a, I guess
Bunch of assholes.
what a
Frownies.
what a panel of internet celebs.
Yeah.
A diverse group of assholes.
I feel like I'm
the
the target of the gangbang right here. So
Yeah.
Oh.
Perfect.
that's how I feel.
It's like
Right.
it's like the internet's version of the Oscars where we all just congratulate each other.
Look at how famous and popular we are. Congrats, everybody.
We're the best.
Gives her some.
Congrats.
Let's throw candy at normies.
Everyone gets an
I
award.
love me. Do you love me? I love
Peasants.
me.
I can't wait for the
So we
speeches.
have nothing planned.
Off to a great start. What a shit show. And so we don't even know how this is gonna work dynamic wise with
No.
podcast guests. We're kind of just feeling it out. So no pressure, Anthony.
Well, honestly, it's a lot like a relationship. The more you actually get really meta and talk about it, the more you actually just ruin it. So let's just get into the topic at hand and just see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. So last week we started a discussion on the creative process of our video making, and we only got through half of it. We kind of just started talking about how we got started with our videos and what drove us to create our channels. So today we're going to continue that discussion. Since Anthony was not here in the last episode, Anthony, how did you start making videos?
I basically got started making videos as kind of an experiment because for well over a year I was running a music blog that really wasn't getting off the ground. Like I was getting an okay amount of traffic, but nothing I could live off of or nothing that was telling to me, yeah, I'm really on the right path here. And before getting into covering music or music journalism or even just regular journalism, I was a pretty big YouTuber and YouTube fan as far as just like avidly watching some other people and just like taking in a lot of content on the platform. And out of all the years that I had been on there since like 2006 or so, I'd never seen anybody kind of formally reviewing an album on a regular basis. Like I didn't know there to be a channel about reviewing music, so I figured I would just try my hand at it.
From what I understand, you used to include clips of songs more regularly and then kind of just gave up on that from Content ID or something?
Yeah, pretty much. I did that throughout all of 2009, and this was before you pretty much started a channel on YouTube, and it was just automatically like partnered. You know what I mean? Before then, there was like a partnering process. Like your channel had to get to a certain amount of views and subscribers, and then you would sort of submit to sort of the partnership program, and then they would kind of overview your channel and make a secret, quiet decision as to whether or not they were going to let you be partnered or not. Like some of my friends or people who I knew on the platform would wait like months before they got like either rejected or an answer or anything.
YouTube was a very different place back in the day.
Yeah, we had the star system. You either get one or 5
yeah.
stars.
Oh, man. There's
what
like an
else?
old screen cap I found on my computer of the old channel layout.
Yes.
I miss it.
And you could leave a comment on the
Yeah, I miss it
channel.
too.
And also, I
loved
think
it.
like I think either ads or comments were on the side, or were they always underneath?
Yeah,
the
the
comments?
description was
Like,
on the side.
Yeah,
they were on the left.
Yeah, they were at the side.
yeah.
As well.
Comments were on the
comments
side.
were on like the side.
Yeah, and the subscribe button. And people are like, be sure to subscribe to my channel, and they point to the left.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, I miss those.
I
those days.
miss I think it was the second generation of YouTube comments. Remember when it was just 2 top comments?
Yeah.
And they changed
I
after
remember
every 1,000 comments, it would be a new top 2. I miss that.
The thing I miss the most about YouTube, the old YouTube, and it's something that I wish that they could effectively bring back in maybe a way that's a little bit more effective, because I understand why they got rid of it, because people would just spam the shit out of videos that were bigger and more popular. But given a lot of the political and social discourse going on the platform now, like one of the most interesting things about old YouTube was just the response system. Like you could literally post a video as a response to another video, and then you'd be able to watch the video, and underneath it you would see all the responses. But then after a while, you know, the responses would only be quote unquote responses, because, you know, you would see just like a bunch
Reply
of spam.
girls.
Yeah, exactly. You just see spam and bullshit down there that has nothing to do with the video that you're responding to. People would just label their videos as responses in order to try to get more traffic onto them. Maybe there's some kind of way to just disincentivize people from spamming using that tool, but I kind of thought that was a cool way of allowing people to upload and interact with each other.
I miss it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
But apparently, I don't know, like it seems like a lot of the times companies just remove certain features and they say, well, nobody was using it, but everybody I talked to was like, yeah, I used it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw people using it all the time.
People used it, but it got abused so often that you can't have the video responses anymore. Between the reply girls and the people who did it just for attention, I completely understand why they did that.
Yeah, it was really
shit.
It was really exploited. But I don't know. There might have been a way that they could have figured out. I don't know. Listen, I mean, people a lot of the time, like in groups, people are very much like cattle. And that's not to, you know, sort of like shit on the human race or anything. But the thing is, if you effectively come up with a way to sort of guide them into participating in a kind of behavior that you want them to, they'll do it.
There's a million social experiments that kind of support that idea. It's funny because as soon as you bring that up and say, like, yeah, most people aren't leaders, everybody's like, well, I'm a leader.
Yeah.
Like, nobody thinks that they're
Not
a person
me.
that is easily persuaded or influenced, you know?
And whether or not you are a leader kind of depends, I think, on the context or the situation that you're in. Like, some people who might take a leadership role.
maybe you're a leader in some things.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Alex.
Yes, Adam?
What the fuck is your dumb video making process for your stupid videos for babies?
Well,
We're very mean to Alex for some reason.
Yeah. I
was
bullied
being
on
as
this
nice
show.
as possible. I was holding back
Really?
a lot.
That's Adam
I mean,
being
that's
nice.
considering.
I was being
guess
polite.
so.
I mean, he is the best YouTuber here, so we just have to kind of break his balls a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Aw,
Aw.
that's so nice. How does it feel that the needle drop thinks you're the best YouTuber?
We do it out of jealousy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Your channel sucks. Fuck you.
Okay. I'm so
If
confused.
I saw you in person,
Okay.
I would
Body slam me?
beat the fucking shit out of you, and then I assume that just like any other moron, you just keep your fucking computer perpetually logged into your channel. So I'm gonna log onto that shit and just delete that shit.
I would beat the shit out of you and give you a kiss.
And then after all of it, after I deleted your fucking channel, I'll give you a kiss.
Anthony, I never knew you were this vicious.
I said I'd give him a kiss.
This
Okay,
is
well, that's true.
Am I now in an abusive relationship with Anthony?
And also,
Fantano?
have you seen me negatively review an album? You know I can be mean.
Oh,
true.
well, yeah. Who's the guy who made that worst album that year? With the guy who used to be like a
Corey
celebrity. From
that-
Corey
yeah.
Feldman. That's
That was
it.
that was a
that
great album.
That video. That's easily the best video on
It
your
is a
channel.
What was
classic.
it called? Like holy to the something.
It is a classic record in a way.
That
You've
album
seen the
art.
music videos, right?
Oh my god.
You know what's so terrible about that record and me kind of influencing people to listen to that album? One, I have been fucking banned from his live shows. Meanwhile,
What?
I see pictures, I see videos of his live shows, and it's my fucking fans going to his live shows. So it's like the only reason you have people lining up to see you at these fucking venues is me, and I can't go see it. You won't let me in. So that's one thing that's aggravating.
Yeah, Daddy Derek.
That's one thing that's aggravating.
Blocked me on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair.
Daddy Derek.
They're there to see him
Daddy Derek
ironically,
needs to
right?
send you a fucking thank you card every year.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
Exactly.
one aggravating thing. The second aggravating thing is that what's so shitty about a lot of these streaming platforms is that when they recommend you something, in quotations, they're not really doing it based on taste or anything that actually links one artist to
Of
another
course.
artist artistically. It's all just listening algorithms and listener habits. So of course, people who watch me religiously are listening to shit like Death Grips and Animal Collective and Danny Brown and Swans and so on and so forth. So of course, now when you listen to Death Grips on Spotify, one of the first recommended artists that pops up is like Corey Feldman. and vice versa.
That's
you listen to
awesome.
Corey Feldman, it's like, hey, you like Corey Feldman? You might also like Swans, or you might also like Danny Brown, or you might also like Death Grips.
I think there's some like really terrible movies I've recommended that didn't have much attention on the IMDb, and then you go to them and it's like recommended for you, Synecdoche, New York.
Yes,
like next to like a Neil Breen
I
film.
had that same issue because I have an IMDb, and like whenever my movies
your
are ranked,
IMDb
it's like,
is
people like
gone.
this movie. Well, my account is, that's a long story, but we won't get into that.
We explained it last time.
But my IMDb page, there's the movies I made, and then linked to those are, if you like Ralph's movies, you'll like Love on a Leash, you'll like, God, what are the endless amount of shitty movies we've reviewed, stuff like
Chips.
that. Anyway, Chips. Well, Chips is actually a great movie. But
Chips Ahoy.
we asked Alex what his process was, and then we completely derailed. So I would like to apologize formally to Alex.
You all need to
Alex,
apologize to
what
me.
what is your creative process?
What's your
you
process?
make a video,
I'm gonna have to
are
take
you
you guys
looking
back.
for something to hate? And once you've found the thing that you hate, like what do you decide right then and there?
I decide if there's enough meat on the bone to fill out a 10-minute and 1-second video. That's the most important thing, guys.
10 minute, 1 second. You know that ad algorithm. Fucking good for
How
you.
far
dude.
back are we going here? We're going back to.
Well,
when
you
we
explained your
began?
roots last time.
Okay. So you have to, of course, you have to have an idea first, right? You need. So I sit down. I think of something, man. You know what I hate? I hate Supreme clothing. Let's see what we hate about Supreme, and then like and then like
Me
every.
too.
I'm sure, like all of us, we sit down. We note. We brainstorm. You're not allowed to say brainstorm anymore.
Spitball.
What?
What is it now?
Why
Mind
not?
map. In this country, in the UK, you're not allowed to say brainstorm.
Is that like a
Why not?
Nazi
Is it hate
reference
speech?
now?
Dude,
that-
this kind of, anyway, that's its own tangent. But
Yeah, don't say anything that'll get
You better
you
watch
in
yourself
prison.
before the fucking government comes in.
you're gonna hear the fucking knock on the door with the sirens.
Well, let's just say that you committed the crime in another country that you're recording from somewhere else right now.
yeah. Okay, I was in.
Oh my god.
So I don't
Queens.
think they can jail you if you said something in another country, can they? Is that a part of the law?
I wouldn't put it past it.
I don't think it's
find
worth
a way.
risking.
But yeah, so.
Well.
No, that's the thing, man. I don't want to go down this route because this is a rabbit hole right here. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
going back to the vids, you write videos. You can spend, I don't know, depending on the subject, big chunky amounts of time coming up with ideas, writing whatever comes to your mind, and you eventually get it into a state which is you think is finished. You maybe get a couple people to read it, and then we move on to my personal least favorite part of making videos, which is the reading of your script. I don't know how you guys feel about the audio bit. I personally find it really frustrating because
Yeah, one of my least favorite parts too.
like when you're editing a video, you have complete and total control over this machine that, like, when you press right click, it's always going to right click. But there's just something to me in the way my mind works, or when I'm reading the words of a page and I imagine the way I'm talking, I want it to sound a certain way. And if I can't get my voice to sound the way I really want it to, or the inflections to sound the way I really want it to, I find it really frustrating. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you've written a video about, I don't know, the Smosh movie, and it's 5 pages long, that can be, I don't know what it is for you guys, but I can record upwards of like an hour plus of audio for a video that is edited down to 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's about the same for me.
I do a lot of multiple takes. My least
Yeah,
favorite
same.
part is when, if my mouth is too dry, I start hearing these like little like lip smacks, which, by the way, Ralph, you do a lot after editing this podcast.
You know, apparently biting into an apple is the best thing to do before.
Oh,
Perfect.
Take a note from Simon.
Apparently
Cade.
it solves that
Perfect.
issue.
I didn't know that.
Do any of you
Wow.
guys do like vocal warm-ups or anything like that?
No.
No?
Well, how
I just
close
smoke a
do you stick
cigar.
to your script?
How
All
close
of
do
you.
I? I
I
used
want
to
to know
stick
how
to
all
it
of you do.
kind of religiously, but now I throw in way more stuff because you just become more confident in what you're doing. So I don't know what you guys are like in terms of that sort
Are
of
you
thing.
the same way, Adam, or Anthony? Because I think Anthony's way more improv.
I used to do
like me, but
vocal
we'll get to
warm-ups
that.
when I worked some weekends in public radio to sort of just get ready on the microphone because I wanted to kind of warm up the bassier side of my voice as I was kind of talking into the microphone. And when you're on public radio, you have to have like this very even, very flat, easy tone.
listening.
You're listening to WNPR, WNPR blah, WNPR blah, 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 blah. And, you don't want to just be too animated on the microphone or anything like that. I mean, for me personally, like Adam was saying, I just kind of got to make sure my lips aren't too dry or whatever, or certain words become hard to say. Like still to this fucking day, I still have trouble every once in a while with the word album.
That's such an important word.
If I'm throwing it too quickly into a sentence, like it'll album, like the B won't actually come out. It'll just be album.
Sometimes the word film gets me.
Yeah, and I'll just need to like redo the whole sentence just to say album, or maybe I'll just like switch over to the word LP. Just like change it up a little bit because sometimes it's a little easier to say. But if you're just always saying LP all the time, like my fans are going to pick up on that as a meme and just be like, why is he saying LP so many times?
Anthony, do you strike me as having kind of a looser format? Do you script your videos in the same way, or is it more kind of note based?
I do have a script, but it depends on the review. I mean, I do have quickie reviews every once in a while that I do where I don't do a whole lot of heavy editing or writing beforehand because the issue that I have with the album or my critique of the record is just so basic and surface level. Like the flaw of the album is so clear as day that you don't really need to dive too deeply into it. Another reason I'll kind of do one of those reviews is maybe I wasn't getting that many requests about it, but I kind of felt like I should talk about it because it's sort of relevant to at least a section of the musical conversation. But typically I go into a review pretty heavily with like a bullet pointed script of just like everything that I want to say about the record, the flaws, the pros, the cons, the positive highlights on the record, the worst songs on the album, what I think could have been better about the record, overall what I think the artistic statement of the album is. Of course, there are some albums that don't warrant a lot of this discussion because some records really aren't that deep at the end of the day. But on the occasion that you do have like To Pimp a Butterfly, for example, not only will I hit upon all of those things, but the review is going to end up being 20 minutes, and chances are I've shot like maybe an hour of like footage of me fucking up or kind of redoing lines or retooling things that I'm trying to say just to get like the right thing out.
Have you guys ever done a video entirely through, like without a script, completely improvised? Have you ever done that?
That's almost every single one of my videos.
Really?
I don't do scripts. The only
The YMS ones and
the YMS
the,
ones, I take point form
quickies?
notes just to make sure that I don't miss anything. And even, I mean, there's been YMS reviews where I haven't. I kind of see it as, I could be typing up a script at my desk, or I could be writing it just by speaking one sentence at a time and cutting out the middleman, because I can just write it as I say it. That's my
because if you're working with
there.
if you're working with audio, anything
interesting.
that's not working, you just cut it out and just re-record whatever.
Yeah, with my format, like every single sentence is chopped up anyway, so I don't need to have super long form single takes in my videos. I'm essentially just doing jump cuts without the video, so I can press record, say, so I just saw blah 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 and it was blah. Stop record, think about what I'm going to say next, etc. So that's usually what I do.
I never would have guessed that. I would have guessed that you used a script.
No, I never use a script.
You don't like jot down all the things that you want to say, or you don't like jot down?
If it's a larger form YMS review, I'll have point form notes. I'll write it in a way that only I could possibly understand it anyway. So I'll be like, dumb thing here, and maybe I'll have a timestamp.
So like for Wrinkle in Time, you didn't write any of that. You were just like, bam.
Oh, Wrinkle in Time, I took no notes at all. Because I don't want to be an asshole in the theater.
Oh, it's
scribbling shit down.
Well, I didn't mean like writing down while. I mean at least like
before.
writing down what you were going to say before.
Yeah, I don't
well,
think any of us write it down during the movie.
Here's what I did for Wrinkle in Time, and what I do with a lot of the quickie reviews, or in theater kind of reviews, is I'll watch it with a friend or by myself. But if I have a friend, then pretty much right after the movie, I'll be like, okay, let's recap what just happened, and we'll talk about it, and I'll be, jotting things down in my phone during that point in time of just like, okay, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about this, just while it's fresh in my head, but there's no script. It's essentially just notes that I'm jotting down so I remind myself to talk about certain aspects of the film or certain plot points that were stupid.
Well, no, that actually makes
really
a lot of sense,
surprising.
because the process of doing that is a lot like writing it down in a way, because when you are experiencing something with a person and then you're able to talk to that person afterwards about that experience, in a way they're able to actually validate what you went through and kind of confirm whatever it is you're thinking, whereas by yourself you kind of need to maybe put a little bit more thought into it to kind of remember or recall what exactly it is that you watched. I mean, one of the fastest and quickest reviews, and one of the better reviews I had ever done actually was a recent one where I did a review of Eminem's Revival album, which was an incredibly shitty album, and an incredibly negative review. But throughout the entire listening session of that album, I actually had a friend that I was listening to the album with online, and throughout the whole thing, we were just like, just aghast at just how many shitty moments were on the record, number one. And number two, like pretty much anything and everything I thought about the album, I was able to bounce off of him instantly. And he was like, yeah, that's absolutely the case. Whereas before I might need to listen to things like 2 or 3 times just to confirm, like, okay, that's actually like what it is or what I've heard or how I feel or what exactly is kind of being, I guess, kind of communicated here.
I've got a little bit more to say about my process, but what about you, Ralph? You didn't really talk about yours that much.
I'm like you, Adam. I just make it up as I go along.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. If you're reviewing something bad, do you tend to write down way more notes than if it's good? Because it's like,
Yeah, I do.
yeah.
Depends what kind of bad. Depends what kind of good.
If something's like really good, it just pours out of you like, oh man, the cinematography was great and the music was great. But if it's something bad, you just want to write down everything that you could possibly think of because you don't want to miss anything because there's so much bad shit in it. That's usually how I tend to work.
I would say that that's true for a lot of movies, but my longest running series is my Synecdoche, New York one, and that's a movie I really like. So it really depends on just how much there is to pick up on when it comes to a film. We're going to have to end this segment of the podcast really shortly. I just wanted to...
Oh, no.
Well, yeah, we got to... I'll let you end it, Ralph. I'll give you a little bit.
The last word.
To finish it off, because you didn't really say much.
Oh, no, I don't even want to say... I want to ask Anthony more shit.
Okay, one more. Let's do one more question on it, and then we'll go on to another thing.
Well, I was going to say, Anthony, how do you... Because you make so many videos, I think way more than any of us do.
Yeah.
How do you keep doing... I mean, essentially, it's the same format every time. How do you change it up? Do you ever find yourself getting bored with it? How do you reinvent yourself every once in a while to try to just keep it fresh?
Well, honestly, it does kind of get to a point where my videos on my review channel, it's really just like kind of like working on an assembly line. And that's mostly because I don't see my videos as being particularly creative. I see them more as just like, this is a service I'm providing. And not to say that like, my opinion is God's gift to the earth or anything like that. It's not like that, but I have an audience that is demanding that of me, and I'm just like trying to supply them with that.
Yeah, you're definitely the movie guy, not the movie guy, the music guy that like the whole internet goes to. My apologies for saying that.
But I mean, it does get, monotonous, which is why I try to, break it up and do more recreational activities in my personal life. I mean, lately I just kind of spend a lot of time with my family, and that's kind of how I unplug. But previously, a great way to unplug through that and just really kind of break up that cycle was the meme channel. And that obviously I've sort of laid to rest because I just can't fucking monetize it on YouTube. However, I have been shopping it around to just kind of see if other, platforms might be interested in supporting it. But, at the end of the day, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm exploring it, but I'm not sure if I want to just like turn the meme review into another needle drop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because part of the thing about that is the plan was that I could really do anything. I could get up in the morning and just decide, well, this week I'll do a meme review, or this week I'm going to come up with a totally different segment and just fucking wing it and, staple
Creative
myself
freedom.
on camera. Yeah, exactly. And just like go fucking totally nuts. But the Fantano channel, which I've started a little under a year ago has been a pretty good outlet for me to just talk about a variety of different things that I don't typically have the opportunity to on the main channel, or if I do, I have to write this like super long think piecey type video and just take it super serious and do a lot of deep research. Whereas
I really enjoy the format on the Fantano channel.
It's great to just be able to kind of rant on some music news and stuff like that. And recently I've been working on a lot of music for the new Cal Chuchesta mixtape, so that's kind of been a bit of an outlet. And I've been trying to make sure I play bass more this year, and that's been an outlet. So, I'm kind of just like treating the needle drop as a job, because it is. It's my job. I treat it as a job. I treat it as my business. And, I just like try to keep my face to the fucking fire, feet to the fire, face on the grinder, whatever the fuck you want to put it, and just like continue my hustle on that.
Were you just slapping yourself?
Yeah, I was just like putting my fist in my fucking hand. Just like, continuing to beat the pavement, and just, keep it up. I mean, it is kind of like a repetitive action, but honestly, it's not necessarily a bad thing to me, because I just kind of see it as like me providing something that my audience is demanding, and I want to do that. Over the years, it's kind of like taken me a while to kind of get myself in the headspace where I have a certain thing that my audience is looking for me to do, and I need to find a way to balance it with, hey, I'm going to be talking about maybe some stuff here and there that I'm not that huge on, and then kind of breaking that up with reviews that I know I'm going to be excited about, reviews that I know I'm going to be turning other people on to, reviews that I know I'm going to be really excited to tell the audience what's great about the album. And that's kind of what keeps me sane, I think. Doing my best to give myself balance where I'm only exposing myself to so much stuff that I think is absolute shit. Or just like super mediocre or super underwhelming. And I think my audience is kind of the same way. They only want to see me do so many negative reviews, and they only want to see me do so many positive reviews too, because they'll start getting on my ass if like everything's a 6, everything's a 7, everything's an 8.
Soft.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because like throughout all my years doing this, every year, as far as like the points at which some of my favorite or my least favorite albums will come out is never the same.
Yeah.
It's never constant. I'll have moments where maybe I'll have given like, 5 8s or a couple 9s within like 2 months. And then I'll just have like this total fucking dry spell for an entire season. And like everything is fucking everything sucks, or everything's underwhelming. And then all of a sudden, like maybe at another point, it all of a sudden there'll just like be this huge flow of like great records all of a sudden.
I love when audience members start to see temporary patterns like that, and they're like, wow, you've changed. It's like, well, I don't know. Give it some more time. I haven't.
Well, everyone's changing.
Yeah. Well, this is true. There was a bit more that I wanted to say, but we're gonna change on to the next topic. If
we'll talk about it next time.
Well, yeah. We'll talk about it next time. And also, you can actually watch a lot of my editing process on my Twitch channel. Link in the description, I guess. I do some editing streams there. I also game, but. You can see the whole process there if you're confused about it. But yeah, I'll talk about that more on the blah blah on the next podcast. We're gonna talk about a movie. So last episode, at the end of the podcast, I recommended the film Dancer in the Dark by Lars von Trier. Lars, okay, I'm a Nazi von Trier. And so we're gonna have a little discussion on this film. It is a spoiler discussion, so if anybody doesn't want this film spoiled for them, and it is a movie I would recommend, then just go watch the movie right now, or skip this part of the podcast. And if you want to be involved in the discussion next week, there will be a film recommended at the end of this episode as well. So, who wants to start this off? Should I start?
May I start?
Anthony? Yeah, go for it.
May I start?
Go for it.
What's this movie about?
I just should you describe what it's about, Adam?
I don't
and then
care.
I'll say what I wanted to.
Well, I mean,
you don't care.
The people need to know.
It's your movie. Yeah,
If
just describe briefly what it's
brief.
about.
Dancer in the Dark is a collaborative effort between Danish artistic director Lars von Trier and Icelandic singer Björk. And she's Icelandic, right? She's from Iceland?
Yeah,
that sounds right.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
wherein Bjork plays, I think she's in the film, she's from Czechoslovakia or something. She's a
Czechoslovakian mother.
Yeah, she plays a foreign mother who moves to America with hopes and dreams and always adored America from what she saw in American media, particularly musicals, which she adores. She's working several jobs at once while living in a trailer in the back of somebody else's property so she can save up money for surgery for her son, who will eventually become blind if he doesn't get an operation. And meanwhile, she is going blind throughout the course of the entire film, and she's keeping that a secret from everybody. She doesn't want anyone to know that that's what she's doing. And so she's tirelessly sacrificing herself for the sake of her child, who she wants to have a better future without the pain that she's going through.
Nice.
Good description.
And she's also a daydreamer.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's got her head in the clouds.
Yes.
So while she is quite focused on this goal of raising this money for her child's surgery, she kind of dips into a lot of these very odd musical passages where all of a sudden she's hearing music in her head and people around her are dancing, and these are all just like kind of these
It's her escape.
weird fantasy. Yes, it's her escape, and it's like these
oasis.
weird fantasy scenes in the movie, which, given the tone of the film and given how sad the film is, at first you don't quite expect. Like, you don't expect it to just kind of break into a musical.
Not at all. Like 40 minutes into the movie.
That's why I said not to look anything up about it.
Yes, I wanted to thank you, Adam, for saying not to do any research on it, because I don't know about you guys, but I thought it was such a fucking like powerful, magical moment when the music began.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
when I
great when
completely
it's
turned on the
delayed like
movie.
that, because you're really not expecting it. You get accustomed to a certain presentation of the film, and then it just completely shifts gears, and it's like, oh, we're also offering this, you know? It doesn't...
Yeah, 'cause
Well, I
you
was
know
going to
it-
say,
Sorry.
the first like half of the movie, I hated it. I thought like the editing was horrible and the camera work was like distracting and just.
But
I was just like
hated
fucking
the first
annoyed
half,
by it.
did you say?
Basically, I mean, even when that first
Really?
musical number started up, I was like, why is this shot like shit? But then there's that point where I believe it's when she kills the neighbor, and from that point on, I totally got why everything up to that point had been so distractingly like just shitty and off-putting and weird. And I think from there, I thought the movie was absolutely brilliant, and from that point on, I was on board completely.
That's interesting, because I'm like the complete opposite. I really preferred the first half. Yeah.
You did? Yeah. I thought the editing in the first half was just like, it was distracting how bad it was. And I didn't know why it was as bad as it was.
Have you seen many Von Trier films?
I have. I've seen his more recent ones, and the editing in all of them is bad. And that's why, especially Nymphomaniac, is just like the cuts.
The editing in
were just,
Nymphomaniac
like, the
is
worst.
bullshit.
But this one's especially bad to where it was like distracting. Like he would just cut people
I didn't
off.
find it bad.
Oh, I thought it was just terrible. And I didn't know why he was doing it. But then, like halfway through, you
seemed
realize he's
intentional to me,
making. No, well, I guess kind of, but it wasn't intentional in a good way. But then you realize he's making the anti-musical. That's what it is. He took all the elements of a musical, twisted it on its head, and made it like as fucked up and dark as possible. And then once I realized that was the point of the movie, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everything that could ever be happening to this woman that's horrible is happening to this woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she gives that line, like, nothing dreadful ever happens in a musical.
I agree with what Ralph is saying about the movie overall. However, I think it gets better much earlier than what he's saying, in my opinion. At first, I was sort of off-put by a lot of the framing and a lot of the editing. And the way that I would describe it is that I didn't feel like I was so much watching dialogue or watching scenes in a film as much as I was watching like the impression of dialogue or the impression of scenes in a film, almost like we were being kind of sped through all of these somewhat intimate conversations between all of these characters in order to kind of do just like a really fast intro to everyone and sort of get an idea very quickly as to what everybody's relationship is to one another. And then once we kind of get into the point where Bjork has admitted that she's going blind, and we kind of understand this woman's tragedy, and we kind of get exactly what exactly her motivation is through the rest of the film. Then after that, in my opinion, the editing smoothed out a little bit and didn't seem quite it didn't seem quite as messy, at least purposefully. I mean, obviously it's all intentional at the end of the day. I mean, you're talking about a film that was recorded entirely on handheld camera. Of course their understanding going into that, okay, some of this is going to be shaky, some of this is going to be messy. However, we're fine with that. That's what we want. We want that chaos. If you look at a lot of the editing during the musical numbers, it's especially chaotic. And that's actually where I think some of the very fast editing, some of the very close framing throughout the film kind of is really to the movie's benefit, because kind of that chaos of all the cuts and all the close-ups throughout those musical numbers is kind of exciting and thrilling. Yeah, and some of the choreography was really good too, and to sort of see a lot of it so close up and some of the cuts to be so fast, it's kind of like you're seeing this dance number from numerous angles in like a really crazy, aggressive way. It was kind of thrilling and very unique.
A couple hours before I watched the film, I was just browsing like Louis Theroux documentaries on Netflix. Mm-hmm. So then when I loaded up the film, and it was like shot and edited in pretty much the exact same way as these documentaries I was watching. And I was like, oh, that's really weird. I was not expecting that. Mm-hmm. But I didn't pull me out in the same way it did for you, though. I felt it almost drew me in more, because it was just something I haven't seen before. It's really weird and like shot like a grainy home movie or something,
It wasn't the camera quality that was the issue. It was just the editing and the way he shot it. Like,
but even the editing, it was just like the documentary.
What exactly about the editing do you take issue with? Is it that each shot kind of the audio cuts? Or like the fact that
it's just like really specific things. Like I would have to
angle or
exactly that too. Jump cuts. It's just like I gotta watch the movie with you. And just show you. Like it was distracting. Is my issue with it. Like I couldn't even get involved in the story because I was just like, why is this? It's like giving me a headache.
Well, to an extent, for me, it was the same thing. It was kind of difficult to take in the dialogue when it felt like, almost like, again, I wasn't listening to or watching an entire conversation going on, but rather clips of a conversation, and they were just kind of cutting to the most essential parts that would move the storyline forward. However, as I was kind of going through the film, it was kind of a mix of, I think it got better. They were consciously making it less chaotic so that you can get into the drama of it more. And also I think I kind of got used to the aesthetic of the film as it was going on too. I started to
on a
like
second
it.
watch, like it's not distracting at all, honestly, for me.
Not as bad.
Yeah, because
when you're expecting it and you kind of know where the film is going to go, it's probably a little easier to take in.
Yeah, that's it too. I mean, he also calmed down a little bit, like you said, as it went along. And like the editing during the musical sequences was brilliant because he edited it like it's a clusterfuck, which is what it is.
Yeah, and if you take for example the scene where like some of those initial conversations where she's talking to what's the police officer's wife's name? She's having a very close, intimate conversation with her in the kitchen toward the beginning of the movie. Like, that's one of the more chaotic moments, or a conversation with her friend. That's one of the more chaotic moments during those early dialogue spots on the record. But if you contrast that with the whole scene where she shot the cop, like that scene there's not a lot of fast cuts. Every kind of piece of dialogue going on back and forth between them is very clear and very logical, and it's like flowing in a way where you feel like you're experiencing all of it in real time, And I will say, seeing a man beg a blind woman to shoot him to death is probably one of the most hilarious premises I've ever seen in a film in my entire life. Like, you're fucking blind as a bat, but please shoot me, kill me.
She misses twice.
Yeah,
it was so fucked up.
It's like how much
it was also at the same time horrifying too.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
It was.
Because it's like,
it was just disturbing.
You don't know where the fucking bullet's gonna go. It's like, seriously, how much of a pussy are you? Where you're just like, no, I can't shoot myself. I'll beg this blind woman to do it.
That's his character. He's too much of a pussy to just be honest with his wife, So,
exactly. I mean, yes,
like,
exactly.
To just be upfront and say that he's lost all the inheritance money because she spends too much, apparently.
Yeah. Yes, and that's another thing. It's like you can't just not keep giving your wife money. You have to keep giving your wife money. You can't shoot yourself
either. He's a colossal piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. He's a colossal piece of shit. But he's too much of he's too much of a spineless loser to do that, but yet he'll just like totally rob this fucking blind lady. Well, I was gonna say rob her blind, but that kind of seems like kind of weird and inappropriate. But you know, he'll totally rob her, and then he'll have her gun him down in his house. But no, I can't tell my wife that I lost the money.
Way out.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like it's like triple coward. I don't know if I would have the guts to stand there and let a blind woman like shoot me.
Just going back to the presentation, did you guys catch that the entire film was handheld aside from the dream sequence scenes, which were all completely stationary?
Yeah.
I really liked that choice. I felt like that was very appropriate.
And the dream sequences, you mean like the musical numbers, or?
Yeah. I mean her daydreaming. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, the musical numbers definitely had kind of like an idyllic look to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like for one thing that I noticed about the editing is the court scene. The color treatments they did on all of the scenes for the musical numbers were much more saturated and kind of had like a red, had like a very bright reddish tint to them. But then when they cut back to the sentencing, like it was all very flat and gray and had kind of like a greenish undertone to it.
I felt like, I don't know if I'm correct in saying this, but I feel like if Von Trier made this film today, after having made so many other films and learning so much more about lenses and cinematography, that he might have just made this movie differently. I feel like when it comes down to the presentation of the juxtaposition between the two realities and how they're filmed, I feel like I would have appreciated even more juxtaposition. Like I perhaps, you know, being shot on an entirely different camera or with even better framing. Like I understand and I get that her kind of musical reality is fucked up in a way, but I almost feel like, I guess just out of a personal preference, that I would have preferred the musical scenes to more accurately kind of emulate the type of musicals that perhaps she would have consumed from America, that she was talking so fondly of, that, you know, why aren't those her reality in her head that she's trying to escape to? Because it just seems like a bit of a contradiction between like what she says she consumes versus what we see her imagine, I guess.
Well, yeah, like you said, it's supposed to be a fucked up musical sequence, because it also wouldn't fit the music at all, because this music is this weird abstract.
Well, you'd have to change the music
and then,
too. You'd have to have
but I love the weird abstract music, and I love that. I don't know if you knew this, Adam. You probably do. They set up like 100 cameras around the set and then just acted out the entire. dance sequence.
That's why it looks so weird.
That's why it was so odd, because it's just like whatever they had in the frame, they're like, okay, cut to that angle, and that's why it looks like a clusterfuck, which is what it is. But that gave it a really interesting aesthetic, and that's when I really got on board with the movie. I think without that, it's losing something.
Okay,
I agree with Adam's point to a degree. I think even with the way that they were editing and creating the movie at the time, there might have been some things that they could have done to just kind of make these two worlds seem a little separate. You know, I kind of like the chaos of the editing and the way that they were sort of pulling these scenes together. And like I said, with the court scene, there clearly were some visual differences between these two worlds. But given the camera quality and the way that they were putting the movie together technically at the time, I'm sure there was only so little they can do to kind of make these two different kinds of pieces of movie scenery shot in the same place with the same actors look vastly different. You know what I mean? Because it seemed like...
Yeah.
It seemed like on the whole, as they transitioned from just a dialogue scene to a musical scene, they pretty much kept all of the wardrobe the same, the lighting the same, all the props and the setup of the area that they were performing in the same. It looked like they really didn't change much outside of like they might alter the color a little bit, or in the case of the train musical shot, everything looked like a little softer or like more pillowy.
Yeah.
So there were some subtle changes, but I think maybe a harder contrast would have been more interesting.
Yeah. I guess let's talk a bit about the music as well. I do have a few more things to say about the presentation, but we'll leave that to the end, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
I enjoyed the music. I've only listened to a few tracks from Bjork outside of this, and obviously the Death Grips collabo. And as much as I enjoyed it, I kind of feel the same way with my personal preference, I guess, just regarding the contrast. and trying to get into the character's head of what she would have consumed. And it just seems like I love Bjork's performance in this movie, but I'm not sure I love the tone of what she's singing for certain scenes. So I feel like
which one?
Examples?
I feel like particularly the scene after she shoots the guy, I forget his name now.
The police
cop.
guy.
Yeah, he has a.
I can look up the
Houston.
names if you want.
Yeah, he has an actor's name that he's a name
David
actor.
Morse.
Sometimes I watch a scene like that in the movie and I feel like it's almost a bit of a missed opportunity to have an incredibly emotional kind of song attached to it. It doesn't necessarily have to be like stereotypical or cliched, but something with a bit more feeling to it. Whereas the music that she's written, the feeling that I get from it is it's mystical. Like that's the kind of emotion that I get from her music a lot of the time is like mysticism. It's like, ooh, this weird, strange kind of music that seems like it would be more appropriately fitting for, you know, some sort of fantasy movie in a sense.
Yeah, it's very otherworldly and it's very alien.
Yeah, and I feel like her music didn't match the tone of the scene in several instances. There are some songs that I really liked, but I do feel like her kind of mystical tone doesn't necessarily lend itself the best to every scene in the film.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard every Bjork record, and I love a vast majority of her discography, and one thing that I did look up going into the film is just the year that it came out. So going into it, knowing that this movie was being filmed and released around the time that Bjork was putting out some of her most popular material and the material like Homogenic and Vespertine that basically almost create her trademark sound, because prior to that, some of her influences were coming from other genres and she was very much wearing them on her sleeves. But on those two records, she really came up with a sound that was uniquely her, like that was her sound. So I kind of went into it expecting like, okay, she's artistically and pretty much commercially at the peak of her career around the time that this album was being made and being released. So it's almost kind of like, you know, you're making the movie knowing with her involvement that she's going to be a pretty big pull to it. People are going to be watching it or checking it out because she's involved, and those audience members,
This is true.
those viewers are probably going to want to hear her making the kind of music or singing on the type of instrumental that they're used to hearing her on. So I kind of went into it expecting that sound, but I agree with what you're saying. Like, given how much she loves musicals and how musicals are her thing, you would think that
the music she imagines sounds nothing like anything she would have watched.
But maybe that also, in a way, is, I don't know, one of the few ways that you could say, well, maybe in a way they do effectively make this world that she's living in, as far as like when they transition into a musical section, this is what makes that world sound surreal and odd and separate from the rest of the world that she's actually existing in, because this music that she's singing, this music that she's dancing to sounds nothing like anything of the world that she's existing in.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Because I think it's kind of cliche to transition to a musical sequence like in the middle of a movie, and it's all like, oh, this is how I wish the world really was, and all magical. And I see Lars von Trier just going like, oh, I'm going to make it as fucked up and like weird as I possibly can.
Well, who knows what kind of direction he gave her or how much creative freedom she had. So who knows exactly who's
guessing-
I mean, given-
for that.
Well, they
it just
hated
sounded like
each
she was
other, right?
making her own
Well, you know,
music.
given the tone of the music in the film and given what I know of her discography around that point, like it almost sounds exactly like what she would normally be doing. So I can't imagine that she didn't have.
She wrote some extra
Yeah,
songs.
I can't imagine that she didn't have a vast amount, if not total, creative control over a lot of these tracks. You know, I loved a lot of the instrumentals. I mean,
you're
one
gonna
of the
get
most
Bjork-
refreshing of all of them to me was during the musical scene at the factory that she worked at, because all of the kind of banging, clanging metal percussion throughout that moment had like kind of like an industrial tone to it that I thought was really cool. Which in a lot of ways
That was my favorite musical number.
is very much in the spirit of the musical she talks about or she's inspired by in the films, because back in the day, a lot of those musicals, sometimes you would hear pieces of instrumentation that were inspired by the setting in which the song was being performed, you know? which again in a way does kind of call back to that genre.
Alex, what do you think of the music?
I really liked it. It didn't really bother me in the same way it did you guys with the.
I still love it overall.
Almost, but
preferences.
Yeah, honestly, it never really crossed my mind. There were other things that were bugging me more than that. In terms of, like I mentioned, I preferred the first half over the second half.
Why is that?
This is probably just like a subjective thing, but it gets so fucking relentlessly miserable towards the end.
Are we talking? You're talking about like around the point where she gets like robbed. After that, it kind of drops off for you, or is it like after she admits that she's going blind?
The moment
is it too depressing for you?
What it was, it's weird because I love depressing shit, but there's something about this one where the moment she's like writhing around with the fucking gun trying to shoot the guy, where I was just like. I was loving the way it was progressing slowly, and you could see what was going to happen. You could see just through the acting and the way the story was progressing where it was going. And the kind of drop of the hat way, the action just sped up and it all spiraled so quickly from there. It just started to lose me a little bit. It just went so ridiculously dark and depressing and fucking. It's not a short movie either. It's 2 hours 20 minutes. Roundabout
that.
I was riveted the whole time, despite the fact that the editing I didn't enjoy in the first half.
Yeah, I found shaving 20 minutes off might have solved that problem for me, because it was just like, how much more depressing. She's going to be fucking hung now. Yeah, so that was my main issue with that, and
I mean, I get it, but I that's when I got the movie, is when she murdered that guy. I'm like, oh, this is what he's doing. Like, that's when I got it. And then my favorite scene in the movie is when she's about to get fucking hung and there's a musical number on the way to her death. Like, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
And, like, all the inmates are, like, hugging her and she's, like, sleeping in the bed with them. It's so fucked up, but it's brilliant.
My favorite moment is when Catherine Deneuve hands her son's glasses. I love that part.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, you did it, but you're gonna die. I love that, like, kind of like bittersweet, like accomplishment, but accepting my death.
She was basically like
emotion that's in the film. I think it's just, I love it so much. It makes me cry.
I don't think it's relentlessly like miserable, like Alex said, because I think most of his movies are.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking
most of his movies are, but these musical sequences, like, they change it up a bit. They're like these breaks, and they're still, like I said, they're disasters that you're watching. But
it's bittersweet.
There's something entertaining and bittersweet about it. Like, oh, she's finally getting some relief in this world, which added some levity to it.
This is just kind of my personal belief system shining through here, but what I got out of it is, yes, at the end of it, like, there were a lot of bad things happening to her, and kind of what made me reflect on this is just some of the online reactions and reviews that I was reading of the movie after I watched it, because it seemed like what a lot of people took away from it was just, this is such a sad movie. I can't believe how sad this is. Fuck you, Von Trier. Why would you make such a sad movie with so many awful things happening to this person? I mean, I got that about the film, and it did cut me emotionally at some points, but really kind of what I took away from the film was just not so much, woe is her, there's so many bad things happening to her, but more just the nobility of the fact that she had a goal, she had something that she wanted to accomplish, she was sacrificing herself for her kid, and there wasn't anything that was going to get in the way of her accomplishing that. There was nothing that was going to prevent her from getting that done. Really, that's what I kind of got out of the movie. Despite everything getting in her way, it wasn't that bad things were happening to her. It's that she decided this is what she was going to do. She was going to do everything that she could to make a better life for her son, no matter what got in her way. Even if at the very last second an opportunity to save herself was presented, she wasn't going to take it if it meant not being able to get her son the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't relentless misery. It was like a story of sacrifice, which is that's a common theme in a lot of musicals. It's very Les Mis, the story. There's a lot of similarities with that.
I think the main thing about that for me is I really like the tragedy aspect, but for me it's like you barely know the kid, and something to me is like I would have liked
a shitty actor anyway.
You know,
Yeah, they probably cut all that out.
Von Trier has
like-
never directed a child well ever. Whenever there's children in his movies, he fucks it up, and this
you
was the
don't
least
you don't
he
know
fucked it
much
up, so.
about her kid, but you
Anyway.
know of her affection for him, and you know about her you know about her
Yeah,
drive.
that's
you know,
what made
and
it
that's
work.
really kind of
He
He
likes
likes
riding a
riding-
bicycle.
Yeah,
The kid is not a character.
It's instantly sympathetic because
the one thing that to
children.
me kind of makes it all fall through is that, man, if only we lived in a world with like, universal healthcare or something, or or if there was like,
yeah.
maybe she had a bunch of like personal friends that were like, hey, listen, we'll all find a place to live together, and we'll all work
GoFundMe.
together, and we'll all trying to raise the money for your son. Or like you said, what if it was like 2018 and they just hop on, all of a sudden she's just like at the jail talking to her on the phone, like, listen, I found this site. Look at this. It's on my phone. It's called GoFundMe. I just started a GoFundMe for your son. We raised $10,000.
She should have just immigrated to Canada instead.
Yes, exactly. She should have went to Canada
Yeah.
and not America.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's another theme of the movie too, is like that
Yeah.
deconstruction of the American dream. Because she comes to America it's very similar to Wild at Heart, where they come to America because it's this amazing place where my dreams are going to come true. And then she's just consistently gets fucked by everyone and everything around her. And again, it's that musical theme where musicals are very American and, fantasy, look how great it is, love and dreams and whatever. I thought the movie was brilliant.
I'm glad
you
glad
guys-
you all seem to enjoy it very
Yeah.
much
I
Yeah.
thought
for the most part.
I
Alex,
did.
do you enjoyed it for
Well,
the most
not
part?
enjoy-
I'm
enjoy
sounding
it.
more. I think I'm coming across more negative than I am. These are
Oh, yeah.
kind of nitpicks more than anything. Like
Yeah.
I agree with what most of you guys are saying. I think it's
Well, you
really
don't hate the
excellent
ending,
movie.
right? You just think it's not
No.
as strong
I
as
just I still really like the second half of the movie. I just kind of prefer the first half a little bit. I don't know. It might change upon subsequent viewings, but that's just the feeling and impression I got.
Did you cry like a little bitch?
in the second half.
Fucking cried.
Are you fucking sorry? Fun fact, both of those
Aw.
films, Wild at Heart and Dancer in the Dark, won the Palme d'Or
Oh.
at Cannes. Bjork won Best Actress, and
Yeah, she
the film was also
Nominated for an
nominated
Oscar.
for an Oscar for the original song "I've Seen It All."
Yeah.
So that was the train track one,
Yeah.
It lost to Pixar that year.
of course. And
Lost to
Pixar
Coco.
in year 2000 for A Bug's Life or whatever they made then. I don't know. This was also the only film that Bjork ever acted in because she couldn't handle it. She wrote a Facebook post during all of the Harvey Weinstein Me Too stuff coming out, talking about a Danish film director who directed a movie she was in that emotionally abused her throughout the production of the film. And it doesn't name him, but she's been in one film, so it's kind of
anybody.
obvious who she's talking about. I also kind of want to touch on. We talked a bit about the presentation. Is anybody here familiar with something called Dogma 95?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of looked into it after
Yeah.
the movie was over, and obviously the movie didn't adhere to all of the
Of course.
rules of that.
I don't.
Yeah.
It didn't
Yeah,
try
but,
to.
but it was it's
It's
yeah,
stupid.
no, I mean
Reminiscent
obviously,
of it.
but it's still an interesting little manifesto.
I think it's the
guess.
stupidest shit.
Oh yeah.
First of all, they didn't
I wanna
adhere to
explain
it
to
mostly.
the audience before we start
Yeah,
talking
explain it, and
more
then
about
we'll
it.
fucking deconstruct
Well,
it and how
they
dumb
didn't
it
they
is.
didn't adhere to all of it, but from what I understand, there are other films he's made that do. A
None
little
of them
better.
have. So basically,
Oh, none of them have.
Dogma 95 is essentially just a classification kind of thing, a set of goals and rules that were invented by Lars von Trier and Thomas Vinterberg in 1995. And it was kind of like a film movement in a sense, where they were sick and tired and fed up of all these huge budget films that were essentially using fancy editing and expensive tricks as a way to kind of supersede the core of what film should be. So like the actors' performances and the characters, they felt like a lot of that was being missed or washed over in a lot of films in 1995. And that's also true today anyway. But essentially, they set up these rules where a film could be classified as a Dogma 95 film if they adhered to these rules. Number one, the shooting must be done on location. Props and sets must not be brought in. If a prop is necessary to the story, a location must be chosen where this prop is to be found. Rule 2, the sound must never be produced apart from the images or vice versa. The audio has to come from the scenes that they're actually filming. They can't be from separate places. Number 3, the camera must be handheld. Any movement or immobility attainable in the hand is permitted. Number 4, the film must be in color. Special lighting is not acceptable. Number 5, optical work and filters are forbidden. Number 6, the film must not contain superficial action like murders, weapons, etc.
Well, yep, missed that too.
Number 7, temporal and
stupid.
geographical
fuck?
alienation are forbidden. So the film has to take place here and now, essentially. Number 8, genre movies are not acceptable.
Didn't follow that.
Number 9, the film format must be Academy 35mm. And number 10, the director must not be credited. And so they premiered this kind of idea with a film from each of them, one by Thomas Vinterberg and one by Lars von Trier, and they premiered these at Cannes. Lars von Trier's film was not the better one. It was called The Idiots. I just watched it last night, actually. It was very fucked up and strange and ridiculous, but wasn't amazing in my opinion. Whereas Thomas Vinterberg's film, highly, highly recommended. It's called Festin, or The Celebration. Amazing movie, shot in Dogma 95 style. And although, yes, the entire concept is kind of stupid, namely because those two films that they premiered didn't actually follow all the rules anyway. And they had to issue confessions, is what they called them. They're like, yeah, this is a part of it. So if you make a Dogma 95 film, you also have to make a confession talking about how you didn't follow every single rule. So like...
Talking about the rules that you broke.
Yeah, exactly. And they made it. Like literally the two premiere films had broken several of the rules that they had laid out. However,
arbitrary list.
The rules that they made.
I mean, oh yeah, it's hilarious. However, I do see value in this from, I guess, like a film study perspective, because what it winds up doing is it creates these limitations on a director and a writer as they're creating the project, and so it forces them to avoid specific tropes or tricks that they would otherwise feel comfortable doing. And when you think about
but they did
the
them
film
anyway.
you're making, well, very, very briefly, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's stupid. However, the film was still constructed with the intent and goals in mind of focusing on the characters and the performances without any kind of special tricks or help. And I find that very interesting. And also Harmony
Right, so
Korine
just
made
say
one
that.
too.
I thought that little playbook that they pulled together there was actually kind of cool and pretty admirable, even if they didn't stick to all of it all the time, because it kind of reminded me of a lot of albums that I love across numerous genres, rock, jazz, pop, so on and so forth, where you might have a group or you might have a musician that might decide going into the record, hey, on this record we are only using acoustic instrumentation. On this record, every song is going to be recorded lo-fi. On this
Setting
record,
limitations. is a
Every
cool thing to do.
Every single record or every single song on the record needs to be recorded in a different location. Which is something that a band that I like by the name of Liars did on an album. They sort of got this mobile recording setup, and
Interesting.
they sort of went into a different space with every single song they recorded onto the album. It's a lot of different records to me feel this way, and or have done similar things. But there have been some instances I can think of where, hey, maybe a piece of instrumentation that originally wasn't supposed to be on the record, maybe they overdubbed it after or something. You know what I mean? So even some artists
Cheated
like
a
that
little.
kind of break. Yeah, they cheated a little bit, but still the spirit of the original idea is kind of there. And even if you don't accomplish every single rule you've kind of set out for yourself, the end product still has an entirely unique aesthetic.
Yes.
Because of what you kind of embarked on doing. Because the thing is, with a film especially, like there's so much that can go on between the moment where you're writing it, the moment when you're shooting it, and the moment when you have to edit it.
There's so many
whereas with
limitations
music,
you can place.
Exactly. Whereas with music, a lot of those things can be happening simultaneously. You could be in the studio writing as you're performing or kind of improvising or laying things to tape that you didn't expect to, and be editing within a matter of moments afterwards, whereas with music with movies you have these three separate processes that even though you might go into a film with these like dogmatic rules and sort of idealistic notions sort of going into it, you're probably going to have to make some sacrifices by the time the film is nearing its end in order to kind of come through with a logical, well-made product that you're happy with. Because at the end of the day, while those rules are cool, and I admire anybody trying to embark on such things, you might have to make some concessions toward the end to make sure that the film itself is good or like lives up to what you feel is like the standard for a quality movie.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, Anthony, you put it really well.
Yeah.
I gotta say, you've almost sold me on it. I don't understand why you need to write in a contract, but you know what? That's a good way.
It's not a contract. It's a manifesto.
Yeah, I know it's not a contract, but
it's like a showy promotional tool.
Yeah,
it's just
sure.
Like, look
that's how I see it too.
Look at us. We're like really breaking off from everybody else. We're so edgy. We're the cool kids table. Here's all these rules we're going to put on ourselves.
The more limited you are, the more creative you're forced to be, though, aren't they? That's
absolutely.
The core principle of it.
But it's like what you said. At the end of the day, what's important is the story. And if you need to break some of those stupid-ass rules to tell a good story, then do it. And luckily, he did.
Just imagine how many instances where a writer in Hollywood or otherwise is thinking, okay, well, I'm going to have this scene where someone's going to get shot and they're going to die. And that's like the focus of where they're starting off is like, this is the emotional pull that the film is going to have is this gunshot. And then to remove that from the equation and have them thinking about like, wait a minute, like what could this movie even be if I removed that? Is the story worth telling outside of that? Are my characters fleshed out? Are they interesting? Like what is happening in the presentation of the film beyond that? I think that's kind of an important mindset to at least get yourself considering, even if it's not like a manifesto that you're going to be adhering to.
It puts you in a different mindset creatively.
Yeah,
it's
important to
do you know?
Sorry?
For his later stuff, has he followed this manifesto since?
No, he made one.
No?
Vinterberg
Maybe
made one.
should.
Harmony Korine made one. They actually disbanded the Dogma 95 as a classification in 2005. And the reason why is because they felt as though technology had improved so much that even if you are adhering to those rules at that point, the aesthetic is just so wildly changed with the improvement of digital cameras and audio and et cetera, et cetera. Films just wound up looking like they're professional anyway, even if they were adhering to those rules. And so they basically just said like, Dogma 95 films still exist and you can make them, but there's nobody classifying them and there's no little sticker thing you put at the beginning of the movie to show that it's official. Like they didn't want to be seen as necessarily a brand. They just kind of wanted to promote a different way of thinking about films or a different way of creative thinking when it comes to movies.
An artistic movement.
You could tell there's still some elements of that movement aesthetically, though, that pop up in his movies a little bit.
Yes.
Like in some of his latest films, which, is funny because, you could tell some of the rules, quote unquote, that he had for the movie. Like the only reason he threw them in there is just, I prefer this aesthetically. So I'm just going to make it a rule, even though it's just what I would probably be doing, even if I didn't put these rules on myself, because it's just what I like visually in filmmaking.
Oh, and by the way, if anybody's second guessing checking out that movie I recommended, Festin, The Celebration, I should mention it's from the same director as The Hunt, which is something that people thank me for recommending often. So
that's a great film.
Everybody loves The Hunt. I haven't met a single person that's watched it and didn't absolutely love it. So yeah, check out The Celebration, Festin. So I guess we'll just give a quick little wrap up of our thoughts on Dancer in the Dark before going into questions, if that's fine.
Sure.
Cool. Well, obviously I love the movie, despite having some personal preferences of where I felt there were some missed opportunities, I guess. But still, at the same time, I also feel like I wouldn't have it any other way, because it could have, perhaps my suggestions would just turn it into something worse anyway. Love the movie. I give it a 9 out of 10 for sure. What do you guys think?
I liked the film overall. I mean, I was pleased with the vast majority of it. I thought the characters were really compelling. I thought the story was pretty compelling. I thought the musical numbers were pretty fantastic and unique. Loved the music and already went into the movie being a fan of Bjork, and it kind of made me appreciate her in a different light. At first I was, again, thinking the movie was like a little rocky with the way the film was edited, and even how some of the actors were acting. I feel almost as if like the acting kind of got a little better as the film was going on a little too. Like everything seemed like a little less awkward, because if I recall correctly, like some of the interaction she was having with her son toward the beginning of the film just like felt really stiff and weird. And I've always kind of known Bjork to be kind of like a very cold and very alien, like weird type of person when you see her in interviews or interacting with other people, at least kind of in the public forum. So like that was kind of manifesting itself in the film in like a really bad way. But as the movie went on, I kind of felt like she, warmed up a little bit. And in a way, I felt like it kind of added a lot to her character. It was almost like her blindness or the way that she kind of sort of would transition or fall into like these weird musical passages kind of made her almost just like a visitor or a tourist in the world that she was actually living in. So she had kind of just like a weird demeanor about her, I guess. Yeah, I just thought all the characters were really compelling. I loved the ending of the film, which was incredibly intense and dark. Yeah, I mean, there were just so many elements of the film that I found to be really good. I mean, it's not going to be for everybody. It's not a very accessible movie. It's a very heavy and a very unorthodox and a very difficult film. But, if you're into stuff that's off the beaten path, then you want to hear something or see something with like a lot of heartbreak and, kind of, again, like a really strong sense of nobility to it. It's worth a shot.
For sure.
Alex?
I don't know how I'm supposed to follow Fantano's fucking perfect summary of the movie right there. But yeah, great performances from Bjork. The music's amazing. Her voice, I just love her voice. It's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a very quaint and tragic movie. Very sympathetic character. I'd say it's quaint. It's
well, you are British.
A singular person's story.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's the style of it is something unique. What are you fucking laughing at? Well, this always happens when it comes to my
I'm so
bit.
sorry.
Being English is.
I like the word quaint. I use it quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm
Quaint.
talking about like a Bell and Sebastian album or something. This Bell and Sebastian album is
But
quite
yeah.
quaint.
It's quaint.
Quite quaint.
Anthony's got your back.
It's not a movie for everyone.
Someone has your back.
It's very sad. But, it's an important lesson about not giving up and what the human spirit can drive you to do, death or otherwise.
Hold on.
We'll wait.
Nobody say anything.
My fucking idiot roommate walked in with a goddamn package. Sorry about that.
Got one more thing.
I
Sorry,
heard
continue.
someone. I kind of heard the voice in the background, and it sounded like they were saying someone in the park got shot. I was like, "Oh, America!" That's what
He
I
said, "What's up, dude?" But
Oh, okay.
okay.
I don't know.
I mean, that does happen frequently.
Yeah.
Alex, did you finish your thoughts? I'm sorry about that.
I've been listening to the soundtrack on repeat since I watched it like a week ago.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
there's something really magical about it. Yeah.
Awesome.
It just it made me feel something I haven't felt in a movie, because Adam surprising me by making sure I didn't research it in any way was like such a great moment for me. And that's something like I really hope other people out there took the advice as well before going in and listening to this, because it's the kind, it would be like seeing Empire Strikes Back for the first time and not knowing Darth Vader's father kind of feeling.
It'd be like watching Blade Runner 2049 and
I was
knowing
gonna
that
say that as well.
Harrison Ford is in it before you start the movie.
Just a nice
Thanks,
surprise.
Sony.
That I would recommend if anything we've said is remotely interesting to you.
Good.
Ralph.
Well, I loved it. Mostly my issues are with the first half. I hated the editing. I hated the way it was shot. I still get it, why he did it, but he went way too far with it. Her blindness was also very inconsistent, because sometimes she couldn't see anything. And then like there's like a central plot point scene where she's in her house and the guy is standing right there and he sees her put the money in the tin, right?
Well, she's not
then
necessarily
later
looking
on-
directly at him. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's
kinda,
like he's
blends
right
into
there.
The wall. Like her vision's fading. We don't know what kind of distance she
Yeah,
has.
but that's the thing. Is like sometimes she could see clearly, sometimes she
It's
was
just a plot device.
blurry. Sometimes it was inconsistent for me. It's not a big thing. I'm just saying most of my issues were with the first half, but I adore it. I didn't enjoy it particularly for most of it, but I was completely riveted, and I love what this movie represents. It's a great statement. And I was fucking depressed after I saw it. The rest of the day, I was just upset.
Yeah, same.
And I went to bed early because I was just really upset. So yeah, like a 4 out of 5 or something.
I'm glad I made you
movie.
upset, Ralph.
Yeah, you always make me upset, Adam.
I know.
I'm just like,
Let's recommend a
It's
movie
a
that's
living.
happy.
Does everybody have a favorite song?
again, for me, it was the song in her workplace. I loved I kind of
Yeah,
loved
same.
the heavy
That's a good
industrial, instrumentation on that. It was really interesting, which I wonder how much of that, kind of fed into the Dogma 95 sort of ideal. Like, okay, we need to try to incorporate some of the sounds of this area into the scene, and clearly the vocals were clearly recorded in a studio. Like they were clearly not recorded on site. So
Oh yeah, it's not a film that tries to be Dogma 95.
yeah. So I wonder. Obviously, he had like a little bit of that ideal in there, trying to incorporate some of the sounds from the set into that song. But that was probably my favorite track out of all of them.
I didn't enjoy any of the music.
Really?
All right.
No, I think it fits the movie perfectly, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But I would never listen to it on an iPod. Again, this is not the kind of music I enjoy. But my favorite
You're more
sequence
of
was
a
again.
Nickelback fan.
Yeah, Nickelback, Taylor
Puddle of
Swift.
Mud.
I love that shit, dude. Puddle of Mud, Corey Feldman.
Three
I'm into
doors
that kind of
down.
Classic.
But
3 doors down. Third eye
Doors
blind.
Logan Paul.
Yeah,
3
just
doors
keep
down.
naming 'em.
Third eye
Keep Fantano.
blind.
You know 'em all.
Fucking 311. Any band with a 3 in it, really. Just any band with 3 in their name. 3-6 Mafia. You're just like really big into.
303.
Yep, 303. Yeah, any group with a 3 in their name, you just fucking love their shit, dude.
Hell yeah.
It's a really weird music listening habit you have.
All right.
Wow.
So now we're going into the question part of the podcast where you guys send us questions. There is a dedicated Reddit thread where you can ask questions, and there's a dedicated thread every episode or whatever for the next one. Who gathered some questions for us to answer?
I did. Did you, Alex?
No, I didn't.
I'm
not Alex.
I looked at a couple.
I said,
and
Alex, you fuck.
I'm
I
sorry.
thought of my own one, which I don't know if that's against the rules or not.
That's not
but,
against the rules.
I mean, if you want to ask, go ahead. You can go first.
Do one of yours first, and then I'll follow with my special secret question.
So I have some music-related ones, and I have some movie-related ones. So, but you want to start with a music one? Because we got the Danktony Danktano over here, who's a big music
Let's
guy.
do it.
So this one's by XD Padfoot. Just wondering if any of you guys have played any musical instruments during your life.
Oh, I mostly play bass, just bass guitar, 4-string, Fender jazz
Just
bass,
bass?
Fender precision bass. I play a little keyboard and guitar too, but I mostly enjoy playing the bass. I mostly excel at the bass. I mostly practice my bass.
Did you teach yourself, or did you get like any, I don't know, training
I
from a
took
professional?
lessons. I took lessons as a teenager for probably like 5 to 6 years, like probably from 13 all the way up until when I started going to college, and then after that I just started teaching myself, and around that time it was actually easier to teach yourself because anything that I wanted to know, honestly, I would just go on YouTube and look it up.
Yeah, that's a
Like
big thing
I would just
now.
there were just like tons of awesome just like bass lesson videos on YouTube. I mean, there are more and more every year. I mean, some of my favorite channels. Shout out to Scott's Bass Lessons. Dude has fucking awesome bass lessons.
Hey, there
Boy.
you go.
And has access to a lot of like cool bassists who he has on throughout the series who just have cool tips and tricks and stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, like around YouTube and when I was getting more internet savvy and stuff, I would just like look up bass stuff that I wanted to learn online and just do it that way.
Do you write any material?
I used to like record little bass riffs and stuff when I was younger and everything. And I've like done some lo-fi and home recording stuff too. I mean, obviously I know a little bit about it because of the stuff I've recorded for the Cal songs and that sort of thing. And I used to be in a music duo, and I did some demo stuff of our stuff, but I haven't like done any super like, grand multi-track type recording, with like multiple musicians that I've sort of written myself or anything like that. No, I'm no Adam from YMS. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Hey.
All right. Speaking of,
But hey, if you need a sweet ass bass line for a song, just let me know.
If I need a sweet ass bass line,
Yeah.
but I already play the bass.
Oh.
Well,
Are you as good as Anthony?
I'll fucking put you down in a bass battle any day, bitch.
Uh-oh.
oh shit!
I'm so...
Yo, right now, let's fucking do
I
it.
already play the bass. I could fucking rule you at the bass, dude.
Okay, well,
Damn.
my songs are...
Oh, shit.
I'm too picky. Like, everything has to be a certain way, so it's like, if I have other people playing instruments on my album, I'm more or less just telling them what to play.
I take
very
direction.
rarely-
I take direction.
I always take input from other people that want to give me input, but very rarely am I actually happy with the input over what I've already got.
All I'm saying is I'm happy to take direction, and anything that I play bass on, you could totally just put featuring Anthony Fantano on it, and all of a sudden it's probably going to get 100,000 YouTube hits. So,
But then you won't be able to review the album without it being a major conflict of interest if it wasn't already.
it's already
one.
a conflict of interest.
Yeah, but
We're
you
like
still
BFFs.
review your friends' albums though.
Like who's my best friend whose album I reviewed?
I didn't say best friend, but you got like George Miller. You did like his Pink Guy stuff. I don't know.
I did talk about his shit. That is
Yeah.
true. You got me in trouble. You're fucking.
You
me
made
up
an
there.
entire video talking about the
Okay,
ethics
it's
of
true, it's
recording
true.
or reviewing friends'
true.
albums.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, called you out.
I just feel like I'm closer with you. That's all. Or I just have a bigger I just have a bigger crush on you. Okay.
Well, that might be a little bit of a conflict of interest. Yeah,
Adam, what do you
I play a bunch of instruments.
This guy over here. I would
Recorder.
play everything.
Yeah.
Playing
Well,
all of it.
I mean, so I started on piano at a very, very young age. Like, I don't even know how young I was. And I would consider piano to be one of the best instruments you can learn first.
It's true. It
because
is one of the best instruments.
The visual layout for what music is, it's literally just a low to high, and each note ascending is just another semitone, right? So if you get comfortable and familiar with notes on a piano, then you have a very easy to understand visual representation of what music is, in a sense.
And in learning to play piano, you learn everything all at once. You learn chords, you learn melody, you learn bass, you learn counterpoint. You pretty much get all of it all at once.
Yeah, it's like everything in one instrument that you could possibly learn somewhere else. Whereas, you learn something like drums, you're only learning rhythm, really. You learn bass guitar, you're only learning the bass, when there's much more to a full song or music in general than just those qualities. And so I started out on piano, vocals, if you consider that an instrument, I guess. Then I don't remember what I started learning first, acoustic guitar or drums. I took some beginner lessons in high school for acoustic guitar, and it was pretty, I didn't have any issue with it. I taught myself the drums, taught myself bass, taught myself the cello
recorder?
recently, actually. And I wound up buying a cello just for the new album I'm recording, and it's turning out really well. There's a lot of tracks with the cello on it that I didn't expect to have the cello added, and it's a really complementary instrument for what I'm going for. So that's turning out well.
Holy fucking shit!
What?
My wife just texted me. Apparently, just now, as in 20 minutes ago, there was a shooting at YouTube headquarters.
What?
Oh yeah.
Seriously?
Yes.
So my roommate wasn't joking.
The shooter's dead. Four people. Shooter's dead. 4 people were wounded. YouTube headquarters in fucking
Foreshot,
California.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, this
Oh my
podcast took
God.
a left turn. That's
Sorry,
terrible.
but that was
Oh, no.
that was
No
crazy.
worries.
And honestly, just it concerns all of us in a way.
Oh, of
so-
course.
For fuck's sake.
As crazy and unfortunate as that is, I'm not a big fan of commenting on things where there's not much information out yet.
No,
I
it's
don't
true,
I don't
but
really
I'll-
want to start a discussion on this and become one of those commentary people that just jump on it as soon as it's.
All I can say is just right now, I hope that this person isn't actually a YouTuber And like, of course, like they have some kind of crazy extremist YouTube channel, because I feel like honestly, like that's the last thing YouTube needs in the news right now.
Yeah.
Another crazy extremist political YouTuber who actually shot up YouTube. And
Yeah, that is really fucked up, and we can only speculate, which is what I don't want to do right now.
sorry.
Yeah.
No
Sorry.
No,
worries.
thank you.
So I also
Cello.
play
I used to
I play
play
the
the drums.
cello, and I play the violin, and I play the trumpet.
I've always been curious about violin and cello, like in regards to just the difficulty level of which, because before that you played bass and piano and guitar and so on and so forth. Like, what would you rate to be the difficulty level? Like, I personally can play fretless bass pretty well. Like, is playing the cello much more difficult than playing those instruments? Like, is it super? If I just like picked up a violin and was like, hell yeah, fucking violin, like, could I pick up on it pretty easy, considering how long I've been playing like stringed instruments?
I mean, when you start to incorporate instruments like cello or violin, there's like vibrato, that is a whole new level of challenge. That
Instead of just like plucking
whether
it.
or not you want to incorporate. Well, I mean, like, and the vibrato is not even caused by the movement of your string. It's caused by you're essentially just like wiggling your finger back and forth as you're hitting the note, which is a challenge in of itself. You're kind of like pivoting the finger in a sense, and it takes a while to get used to. And I'm not even sure I do it like all that well, but
Is it like pulling a string on a guitar to kind of get it to, a little bit, or is it like different?
no, that's very different. Yeah, you don't want to like bend the string on a violin or cello. You want all of the
You're just kind of like wiggling your finger on top. just
yeah,
with a little-
you're like pressing up and down in a sense, but not ever having a point where your finger isn't connected to it. It's a challenge for sure. I do feel like the cello is easier than the violin. You have a lot more space for vibrato and notation, whereas violin, very subtle movements can easily just fuck it up and make it sound awful. I'm not like an expert at both of them, but I play them well enough that they're on my album and I'm happy with how they sound.
Do you play any stuff you blow into, man?
Yeah, I learned the clarinet for the album also. I play some trumpet on the album. I learned the saxophone for one track. That was an instrument that I was expecting to have on a lot more tracks, but it only really worked out for one. So like the opposite of the cello.
I had a dream last night I could play sax for some reason. I fucking dreamed
Interesting.
about being able to play sax. I would like to.
I had a dream last night that I fucked a female, and it was so weird. I had sex with a girl.
It's a little off topic.
I wore a condom in my dream too.
I hope tonight I dream that I fuck a sax. I hope tonight that I dream that I fuck a saxophone.
You dreamed you wore protection?
No, I
That's
pulled the
fucking
condom
weird.
out of my wallet where I always keep them. So I was like, I was practicing in safe sex even in my dream.
That's cute.
Condom in the wallet's a rookie move, though.
Oh my god.
Yeah, whatever. I was like super strong too. I like lifted her up against the wall.
It's superhuman strength.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alex, do you play any instruments?
Well, I guess now is the real time, Ralph.
Besides the skin flute.
Bazooka.
Do you want to reveal the secret, Ralph?
I guess.
Me and Ralph have started a band. It's called the Bongo Boys.
Yeah.
Lots of bongo tracks on there.
Yeah, we both play the bongos. It's coming out
Yeah,
soon.
well, you do vocals, remember?
Well, I do a little bit of bongo work in it. Like the sixth track
yeah,
or
true.
so. we
It's
switch
kind of like
places a bit.
50-50 split. But
Isn't this more singing or rapping or slam poetry on top
we
of the
kind of do a bit of
bongos?
everything.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
song's different. The
Took a
whole,
lot of inspiration from Corey Feldman.
We've nearly finished our first album, and it's
Yeah.
it's all about a big battle with YMS's first album.
Yeah.
So it's going to be kind of one of those
A
rap
lot of diss
battles.
tracks.
Like which one's sales are better? Like who has the better sales?
It's kind of like diss track thing. Hopefully he'll do
Oh,
a
cool.
response and it'll be
Well, let's
start
see
a
if
whole
it
thing there.
does nearly as well as my demo CD from 2010.
Let's hope so.
You gonna get a Blondie cover?
Listen,
I don't know.
Do you have a song called Modesty, Adam?
No, I don't want one.
I'm gonna positively review your album and shit all over Adam's album, and
Oh, perfect.
Ooh, I like that.
and then I'll just like basically cast Adam off into the Corey Feldman realm,
Oh, please.
and you guys will be the next Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, yeah, that's my dream. to be the next Kendrick Lamar. Thank you
I
so
played
much.
drums for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
Good
stopped
for you,
because I can't remember why. I didn't have
Weren't
anywhere to
good?
put a nice
You didn't
drum
like
kit,
it?
and like, you know,
Oh, so what did you do with it? That shit's heavy and expensive.
what do you do with it? You play it, Ralph. It's a drum kit, you know.
No, I know, but you only played it for a year. What'd you do with it after? It just sat in the corner?
No, like I did lessons for a year, and I had like
Oh.
my parents didn't have the most amount of money, so they got me one of those little rubber pads, you know,
Yeah.
that
Aw.
mimic like it. So just go. It's just not.
They
the
got you a
same.
Guitar Hero drum set?
He was practicing his paradiddles.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I just couldn't do it. You, Ralph?
Perfect. I play acoustic guitar and bass also. I studied that from when I was like
Nice.
10 to like 15. I mean, I don't really play that much. It's mainly a thing I pull out when girls come over or stuff like that. But it's never worked.
I forgot about one other instrument that I play.
Yeah, knew that was coming.
I mentioned that while you were talking.
So did I.
I'm like, did you? All right, good for you, dude. I'm glad you. I'm glad you.
I
left
guess
your recorder.
I should also mention that I don't know if I've actually talked about my music at all on this podcast. I should mention that I'm
You
not
haven't.
joking
I've been really curious, but
about like how many instruments I play and that I'm recording an album. Like I'm serious about music for anybody that doesn't know that. And basically, I'm recording my first full feature album right now, and it's taken me, I don't know, like 2 years so far, but it'll be out early next year. Very happy with how
Good.
it's going. The only other material I have out right now is kind of just like demo material from like 2010. So don't consider my currently available material to be a reflection of my current abilities.
Yeah, you always get better. That Nicholas Winding Refn song you made, that's a
Oh yeah.
that's a work
Well, that
you've
was
done.
I just took an instrumental track from YouTube and then sang over it. So
Oh really? I
everybody
didn't
who's
know
mad
that.
at me for the
thought you
kick
wrote that
being
song.
panned hard left, that was not my fault.
What
Oh,
a
really?
fucking sham. What a sham.
What a hack!
We trusted you.
Eh. I guess I should also mentioning that Blondie cover, that was also not a joke. Blondie covered one of my songs. So throwing that in
Yeah,
there
that's really
because
cool.
that seems to help legitimize my music in a lot of people's eyes. So check
And in
it
my
out.
opinion, it was one of the better songs on the record. So
Why, thank you. It was
Aw.
very
You're
cool
welcome.
that they did that. All right, next question.
Sure. So this one's from The Real Meme Daddy. They ask, "Hey Melon," that's your nickname, Melon.
yeah, that's the mother my mom gave me. Go on.
Do you like that nickname?
I love it. I love
Oh,
it.
that's
I'm
cute.
actually about to sell a shirt that feeds into the melon meme.
Good.
Oh really? Good for you, dude. Mine is my nickname's Gay Furry. Apparently, I'm not a big fan of it, but what are you gonna do? Hey Melon, I know you hate Straight Outta Compton. What's your
What?
favorite biopic about
You mean
musicians?
the movie, or I don't even know what?
Yeah, the movie. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. What's your favorite biopic about musicians? And I guess this goes for everybody.
I don't know. It's not a biopic about a specific musician, but it's definitely like a musical movie about a certain point in time
Yeah.
in music, and that's a 24-Hour Party People. I like that film quite a bit.
Okay.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm aware of it though.
It's all about the Manchester factory record scene in the UK in the 70s and 80s, Joy Division, New Order, Happy Mondays, all those bands.
Nice.
And the guy, Tony something, whose last name I can't remember, who basically started the label, he used to be a TV host. And then he was starting to hear all of these cool bands in the UK, you know, new wave and synth pop bands and post-punk bands that weren't quite getting the shine and the attention that they deserved. And he kind of, in a way, sacrificed his media career to just totally just live and bleed this music scene and support it and just, in a lot of ways, kind of put it on. And the whole film is just all about the growth of that scene and just kind of the rise and the fall of the record label.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's on my watch list already. Steve Coogan
Yeah.
is in it, directed
Yeah.
by Michael Winterbottom, who directed The Trip, which is a very funny
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
I wish I'd seen it. Sounds interesting.
I'll be checking that one out for sure.
It's a pretty fun movie, you know, especially if you're a fan of any of the groups that sort of came out of that scene. Again, New Order, Joy Division, that sort of thing.
Good. All right. My favorite one, I don't know if you'd count this, but Amadeus, about Amadeus Mozart. That's absolutely
Very
my favorite
interesting.
biopic about a musician.
I haven't seen that.
That movie's fucking fantastic. And it's all told from the point of view of some other composer at the time who was really jealous of Mozart and really wanted to be as good as him, but is not even close to as talented. So
That's
it's
an
partly
interesting
like
perspective.
it's partly watching the rise and fall of Mozart and partly watching this poor guy who wants to be as good as Mozart but never can be. So it's a brilliant like movie about art and like artists and that struggle they go through. I loved it. So,
Alex?
Only one I could really think of is Behind the Candelabra.
oh, that's such a great one too.
Yeah,
oh my god,
Michael
I can't believe I
Douglas
forgot
has a
about
lot of
that.
sex with Matt Damon. It's kind of the story. It's one that seems to have gone under the radar. Like, yeah, it's just about the famous pianist. It's more about the drama behind the
famous
scenes. than the
pianist.
Penis, yeah. If you like Penis and Matt Damon and Michael Douglas all sharing Penis, that's one for you guys.
I don't know. I just scanned my Blu-ray shelf for things that would be considered biopics of musicians. Does The Pianist count? Because that's
Not
it
really,
does.
but
mean,
sure.
I don't know. Is it not? Kind of.
I mean,
It's based off
is
of
it based
a
on
real
a real person?
isn't it?
Oh, so there you go. Yeah,
I think it
guess
is.
You know,
so.
also, I like the Johnny Cash movie quite a bit.
What is that one called?
Walk the Line,
Was
isn't
it I
it?
Walk the Line?
Yeah.
What was I Walk the Line?
Not to be confused with
Is Joaquin
Walk Hard.
Phoenix in it?
Yeah, I mean, there were some elements of his life that they kind of glossed over. There was a moment where I think they were like, what? They were like in downtown Tennessee and there wasn't a black person in sight.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like, I thought it was like a pretty true to life and pretty compelling as well. I mean, you know, there were probably some scenes that didn't go over exactly how they put it, but I thought it was a pretty fun movie.
Oh, good. All right, next question. Anyone else have anything else to say?
No.
About this? No.
If Inside
Okay.
Llewyn Davis was about a real person, that would probably be mine. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's what I thought.
Oh,
about
yeah,
But
as
it's
well.
not.
That's a
it's
damn
not a
good
real
one, too.
person. So
Okay, so next one is from Jam Twin, 1999. What are some of your favorite music videos or music video directors? This is not one I'm very well versed in. I recently saw that Apple iPod, not iHome, by Spike Jonze. Like, it's like an advertisement. I know that's not really a music video, but I thought that was pretty fantastic.
one of my favorite music videos. This one's a little cliched to have as my answer. Whatever. Take on Me by Aha.
Yeah.
I think that's
That one's really
that's one of
good.
those music videos that almost just made the song. You know,
Yeah.
that's a great music
Yeah.
video.
Is that the
Absolutely.
one that's like all like pencil drawn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic music video right there. There's some interesting stuff like It's Okay to Cry by Sophie is a very strange music video
Yeah, that
that
movie,
is kind of
that
interesting.
music video is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool. Eric Wareheim directs a lot of weird stuff.
Yes,
believe
he
it or
does.
not, he directs music videos. I know there's probably ones that are just slipping in my memory right now. I'll think about it while somebody else lists them off.
I have a couple if you guys are thinking.
Go on.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some really random ones, like Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. It's got like all this weird stop motion stuff and crazy effects, which I'm told by my parents who saw it when I came out were kind of a big deal or something. Like it was all new and crazy technology for a music video. The song Only by Nine Inch Nails has a cool music video. It's all presented through, I don't know what they're called. They're like a toy where they've got loads of pins on it and you can like push your hand into it and it leaves the print of your hand. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like those metal peg.
Yeah, those peg things that are in like
yeah.
a rectangular board.
Yeah.
That's kind of a weird, unique one. Legend Has It for Run the Jewels. Really like that one. And
What happens in that one? Is that the one where the cop and the guy are fighting like perpetually?
That's a different one. I thought in Legend Has It, they're like lined up in the police station and they're like, they've got loads of duplicates of themselves and they're like taking a step forward, doing a line, and then the one next to them. Yeah.
There's another one that they had where it was a cool concept where just this cop and this perp or whatever you would want to call them are just like, they're just like fighting just constantly. And they're like,
Yeah.
it's just this never ending battle. And, you know, the fight is like going into someone's kitchen and they fly through the window. And then,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like this never ending kind of struggle.
And I guess the final one I'd say is Clint Eastwood by Gorillaz. It's like
Nice.
an important one to me.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
You know, what's funny is like that video is so cutting edge for the time, and aesthetically
Yeah.
it kind of reminded me of like Korn's Freak on a Leash. like with some of like the weird effects and like the weird kind of color transitions and stuff. But it's funny because like going back, it's like it's just like the advancement of, I think, just visual aesthetics and music videos. It's not quite as like hard hitting as it used to be. When I remember when I was a kid, like those music videos fucking blew my mind. Like
Yeah,
that,
same.
That and the Nine Inch Nails Closer video. That video used to give me nightmares.
I've thought of some more.
Okay.
We got Fantasy by, I don't know how to pronounce their band name, Dye, D-Y-E.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a really
an
good one.
awesome music video. So
I don't think
fucked
I've
up.
seen that one.
Oh, it's a classic for
It's a
sure.
really good song as well.
It's insane. Oh my god, that I love that music video so much.
Yeah, same.
There's the music scene by Blockhead, some really cool animation going on in that. There's Dear God by Monsters of Folk was pretty interesting. Butterfly Caught by Massive Attack had a pretty cool video. Frontier Psychiatrist by the Avalanches is pretty entertaining, although I would say the song's better than the music video. But Kangaroo Court by Capital Cities, because it's fur bait. And Lone Digger by Caravan Palace, because it's fur bait. Those are both really good
Okay.
music videos.
Furbait. That's an interesting
Yeah, I've
term.
never heard that before.
Oh,
Yeah,
Furbait.
furbait.
that's what Zootopia was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you think they just honed in on the furry market for
I think they did.
Zootopia?
I think they really
You
did.
think so?
I'm
I
convinced of
genuinely
it.
don't think they did.
Well,
but-
we'll get into that discussion another day
Yeah, maybe we should.
because
That's an
I am
interesting one to
convinced
have.
that they did.
Okay, we'll talk about it next time. All right, so is that all the time we have for questions?
Did you talk about your music video, Ralph? Did you say one?
Oh, I don't really have one.
Oh.
I like that HomePod one. I more wanted to hear what you guys thought because, you know, I'm looking for some music videos to watch because I do enjoy them.
From when I was a kid, I liked a lot of the old Michael Jackson videos a lot. I don't know, they were less like music videos and more like cultural events, like in the production and the dance routines that went into all of them were so incredible and like so huge. Have you guys seen the music video for Battles, My Machines?
No.
This experimental rock band called Battles. They have this second album called Gloss Drop, and Gary Newman, the new wave artist Gary Newman, who did Cars.
The Daniels made
Yeah. He sings on the song, and the music video is set on an escalator, and you see the band playing occasionally, and you see Gary Newman singing, but basically the premise of the whole music video is that this guy who's going up the escalator, he starts falling on the escalator, but the thing is the escalator keeps going up, so he's in this like perpetual motion of falling, just like forever. And so you see the down escalator, like Gary Newman is going the down escalator, he's singing, and then you see the drummer from the band going on the down escalator. His whole drum set is on the escalator, and he's just like drumming as the escalator is going down. And every member of the band and Gary Newman is performing the song, and they're just kind of passing by the guy who's just falling forever on the up escalator. And it's just like a really odd premise for a music video, but and I have no idea what making the music video might have meant in terms of just like stunt performance, because I imagine that there probably would have been like potentially a lot of injuries walking away from such a music video, because it looks like the guy is legit falling, you know, like on the escalator forever. But it's just like a really weird premise, and definitely one of the oddest music videos I've ever seen. I really love that one music video from that band Spiritualized. I think the song is called Hey Jane or something.
Okay.
And it's basically this it's a really long song. So through the music video, they're able to tell like this pretty ambitious and well-developed story where this trans woman, male to female, they have a kid, and they're just driving around, and, you know, they're like trying to get their kid to school or something. And you could tell that this person, to make ends meet, is like doing sex work. And this person like meets somebody at a hotel, and at some point they pick up their kid, like they're around in the area, but then they sort of go in this hotel to sort of do their thing, just like get a few bucks or whatever. And then it sort of turns violent, and they're getting attacked and they're getting beaten, and like this person's like about to be killed. And then all of a sudden, like her kid pops into the background and just like guns down the guy. Like the music video ends with her like breathing heavily on the floor because she was just being choked to death and like just trying to catch her breath, and her kid, I believe, like cuddles up to her and just like lays down next to her after killing the guy.
Wow.
It's a pretty crazy and intense music video. I've never seen anything quite like it. And, you know, of course, all of those like OK Go music videos are pretty inventive, even if the songs like all suck.
Yeah. The songs are like inoffensive and sellable.
Yeah,
like if
exactly.
if they didn't have their music videos, they would never stand out from the crowd in any sense.
Yes.
They would not be able to
Yes,
sell their
exactly.
music without
But
their videos.
but the music videos though, they're incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. The music videos are the band.
Oh yeah.
You reminded me because the Daniels directed those. That one you were talking about with the escalator. They also directed one called Joywave by Tongues. That music video is excellent. It's a bunch of nudists, and there's these people with guns that have clothes in them, and they're shooting clothes onto these people. And then there's, of course, the Turn Down for What music video by the Daniels.
that
where
music
they're
video is
just, like,
hilarious.
Their butt hits the floor.
That music video is great.
Yeah, they make some great fucking music videos.
Oh, yeah, wow.
And those are Emerson alum.
I was just going to mention how I feel like a crazy person for not having mentioned any Death Grips music
Yes.
videos.
Oh my god.
They are so creative, and what I appreciate so much about them is that they're so incredibly effective, but they're done so in a way where they understand their own limitations. So back before they actually had a budget, like now a music video like can come out where that actually has some production value to it. Like that's a great music video.
It's super low budget. It's super, like we were saying earlier with the Dogma 95 limitations. You know, it's almost like they went into some of those music videos with like, okay, you know, these videos need to be limited in this way. It just has to do with like the visual performance of them on the screen, and then just like some really weird psychedelic effects and sort of the concepts they go into every music video too, just like is really refreshing and cool.
I love the music video for Double Helix. I love the music video for Hustle Bones. And I especially love the music video for You Think He Loves You for Your Money, whatever that full title is.
Yeah.
That one's an awesome one, where it looks like he's taken the most emotional shit in the world.
Yeah.
Alex, did you ask your secret question?
No, I did
No?
not.
Do we have time for that secret question, and then we'll call it a podcast?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah?
the secret question?
So here's my secret question, right? We're all relatively opinionated people, right? All of our content revolves around our opinions of things, at the very least. And, you know, sometimes those opinions upset some people. So I want to know, out of all of our videos, what is the video that's kind of upset people the most? And if the negative response to a video has ever gotten to you guys or upset you or whatever. Who wants to lead the charge with this one?
Anytime I review a superhero movie, the reaction
Really,
the reaction is incredibly negative for the first like month or so, and then after the hype has died down a little, then everybody's like, oh yeah, of course. Like my Amazing Spider-Man 2 video, my Suicide Squad video, like you can still see the dislike bar. It's not as bad as, you know, the first month of the film's release, but that's usually where I get a lot of my negative feedback is whenever I review a popular superhero film. And then immediately just like forums where people usually say good things about me. They're like, I never thought he was a good reviewer ever. The tone completely shifts, and it's fun.
So it doesn't get to
same
you at
here.
all? It never gets to you or anything under your skin?
Not really.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't be doing
Why
this
would
if it did.
Yeah. Ralph?
Yeah, well, much like Adam, the Black Panther one. That's probably the most.
Really?
Yeah, the most, I guess, controversial. But I don't hate the movie. I think it's just
I know.
like whatever. I think it's forgettable.
Meh.
Adam just hates all of them. That's why he's like, these movies are made for fucking babies. That's why people dislike. I'm just like, yeah,
speaking
that
the
was
truth.
okay.
There are people that are desperate to hear somebody say that. They're like, "Thank you."
Yeah, but I don't look at the dislikes or I do, but I don't look at like the comments. I don't give a shit. It's like, yeah, it's my opinion. You don't have to fucking watch it. Go fuck yourself. That's how I feel. Good. Don't watch me then. Anthony?
Yeah, Anthony.
Well, I as you guys were talking, I did a little bit of research here because I found a site called sortbydislikes.com,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
could see
Yeah, I've
like
seen that.
literally what videos I've gotten the most
Oh.
dislikes on.
Oh, right.
The ratio, yeah.
And the two reviews that I have the most dislikes on, and we're talking about like 73% to 27% dislikes and 71% to 29% dislikes, are The Weeknd House of Balloons album review and Kanye West My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy album review. Although I will say that the Kanye West one is probably the one that I get the most reactions on, because still to this day, like my score on that record, like everybody brings it up and it's just pretty much a meme at this point.
What'd you give it? Like a 6?
I gave it like a 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I love that album. So
Yeah, like I
disagree
gave it a
with you
6, and people just like, still to this day are just like, you gave My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy a 6. And, you know, Kanye. And, you know, Again, though, like people by this point, when they bring it up, it's mostly just a meme.
Yeah.
But at the time, like the hatred that people had for that review was really intense. And keep in mind that like at the time that I came out with that review, my audience was like relatively small. Maybe I had like 9,000 subscribers. Like maybe.
Holy shit.
At
Really?
that point. But the thing is, like, that review brought in a whole flood of new viewers. And like, so all of these people just being introduced to me for the first time ever, and like they were just shitting all over me. So at that time, that was probably like the most negativity I put up with in a concentrated amount of time for the first time. Now the hate that I get every day probably, you know, all over the internet probably dwarfs what I got during that review during that point in time. But it felt very huge to me at the time, and it did shake me. It did get to me in a way, you know. It kind of made me sit there and think like, wow, you know, am I wrong on this one? Did I really fuck up? Did I not? Because I mean, I've been listening to Kanye's music up until this point, but the record to me just like felt kind of average. Like I felt like it could have been more interesting considering what it was trying to do. And I thought that there were some tracks on there that I just genuinely found kind of grating and annoying. I guess I just didn't care for what he was trying to attempt on that record. You know, there's some tracks on there that I think are really excellent on their own. Opener's fantastic. Power is amazing. I think it's one of his best tracks. But I just prefer you know, his earlier material and his record since he remixed it and changed the sound up of it quite a bit. The Life of Pablo, I think is one of his best.
Oh.
No longer a title exclusive.
Yes, no longer a title exclusive, but still, like you still can't buy it. You still can't go on iTunes and buy it. There's still no physical copies of it. You can only
I heard
stream
about
it.
the class action lawsuit, but
Yes,
where do you stream it from?
But still, apparently that hasn't changed anything. Like it's still not physically or even digitally available. So if you want to listen to it, you just have to stream it.
That's interesting.
But yeah, that's probably the most negativity I've received on a single review. The Weekend review is almost a fluke in a way because it was a negative review, and he does have a lot of hardcore fans who love his shit, and whenever I give a negative review to his stuff, like I get a lot of downvotes on it. But part of the reason I got so much negativity on that review is initially the project was anonymous. So, like, nobody quite knew or understood who was singing, who was producing, how many people were involved, and
interesting.
And you know, and there were some grainy videos of like Abel Tesfaye singing, and there was like, you know, another singer like kind of dancing along with him. So, you know, from the outset, given how consistent the production was, and it was true that early on he was working with like a single producer who, in a way, was a part of the group, but then Abel ended up taking the sound and just like going to other producers and being like, can you make me something like this? So now he works with a lot of different people to make the music. But at the time when I was sort of working on the review and listening to the stuff, like all of this was still being learned. So in the middle of writing my review, it's suddenly just this flood of information comes out where I didn't fully understand the personnel, who was involved, who wasn't. And then I dropped the review like just after all of this came out. So then, as soon as the review was out, all the fanboys and all the fangirls like started attacking me right away. Like, it's one guy, you fucking idiot. It's not a whole fucking band, you dumbass. Didn't you know anything? And it's like, listen, like we just learned this now. Like I clearly wrote this like last week as this information still had not come out yet. Like, and it's so funny, like what people will jump down your throat about, like when they're really passionate about something. Even though they themselves don't really know much more about it than you do, because they're just learning at the same rate that you are. But a lot of the downvotes that come with that review come from people just like acting like they know fucking everything about The Weeknd when they only know what's available on the internet, just like everybody else.
I feel like music is probably a more difficult medium to try and persuade someone to understand your perspective than film.
You think so?
Well, yeah,
I've always
because
thought that
like music is, you can have comments to make on the production quality and I guess the lyricism, but most of what people get out of music, most music listeners, is always just going to be the emotion that they feel or like the tone or the image of the artist that they enjoy. And no matter what you say, there's always going to be people that they relate to that image and that tone and that feel so much that that's all that matters. In a sense. And I'm not saying that anything more should matter if that's what they want to experience. Whereas with films, I've gotten a lot of comments from people if, let's say, I'm talking about how the entire plot of the movie just falls apart when you start thinking about it. That's something where a lot of people can watch and they can be like, you know what? Yeah, you've actually raised a few decent points. And maybe they'll say, yeah, I still enjoy the movie, but yeah, you're right, it's incredibly flawed, or something like that. I feel like it's a bit more difficult to make that case when you're reviewing something like music, where it's more expression than narrative in the majority of cases.
I think what you're describing there, and this can apply to films, but mostly films where I think viewers might be super invested in a certain actor or a certain character, like no matter whether the film is technically or narratively great, this person just loves Batman, or they just really love Matt Damon, like no matter what the fuck they do.
Yeah.
I love Batman.
Yeah. What you're describing there is just kind of like a cult of personality thing. You know, like some people just fucking love David Bowie, even his super mediocre late 80s, early 90s stuff. You know what I mean? But because they're just like hardcore David Bowie fans, no matter what David Bowie does, like it's just amazing. And it's true. And those people, you're not going to convince. But there is a decent segment of the music fandom, the music listening population out there, which I think might have expanded in the internet age, because I think it's opened up the musical conversation a lot, that essentially approach music listening a lot in the same way that some people approach comic book collecting. And you know, they really want to know about the production aspects of the record, and they really want to know about, you know, the conditions under which an album was recorded and what the artist was going through and what the narratives of the album were, and just basically like the nitty gritty details of an album. And they basically judge the quality of a record on those things alone, and not as much the cult of personality aspect to it. But it's true. You know, you see that follow artists like Beyonce everywhere, you know, who no matter what she's doing, it's like, slay queen, slay. You see that following, you know, artists like Kanye West everywhere, who with some people you just cannot say a single bad thing about Kanye West.
However, is one of those artists for sure.
However, there is like a decent subsection of his fan forum, Kanye 2, though, who are big fans of what I do. You know what I mean? So as stubborn as some people like that might be, a lot of them are open to hearing alternative perspectives. So,
Alex?
For sure.
Well, I've pissed off pretty much every fan base in existence.
yeah, that's basically your MO.
Except Mars Bars.
That's a common baby.
I hear you're still getting like lots of harassment from the fans of Dust.
Constantly.
They call themselves Dust Defenders.
Dust bunnies.
Yeah, Dust Bunnies, Dust Defenders.
Dust bunnies.
They still send you hate mail, death threats.
One that stands out to me are the Sonic the Hedgehog fans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because I fucking hate Sonic.
I mean, if there's still a fan in this generation, it's like, of course they have to be diehard. You know?
Yeah.
Like, if you're a fan during, like, 2010 Sonic, especially, like, it's a special breed of fan.
I just find it funny. Like, shit, like, the only thing that ever gets to me is when I stumble across like a comment chain or somewhere on Reddit where people are like quoting things that they think I've said, and I'm just like, I've never said anything even remotely similar to that. You're just completely
I love
misquoting.
Those.
It's
I
like
fucking love those.
The urge to reply to them has to be subdued, because it's like, God damn it, just fuck off.
Well, Alex, you're the only one who's managed to make light of it by taking their comments and putting it in its own show on your channel and then making money off of it, which is brilliant. So the more controversy, the better for you.
Yeah.
I just feel like it encourages more people to leave stupid comments when you do that.
Well, that's good. He makes more money that way. It's brilliant.
I've looked through so many comments now. I want to say I'm pretty good at being able to weed out the ones which are obviously fake. There are certain signs you can look for, little secrets of the comment trade that you can delve into. Little secrets that you guys are not allowed to know, only I can know.
You're the expert.
Yeah, it's my forte.
All right. Nice. I guess that about wraps up this podcast. Everybody said what they wanted to say. We do have one of you has a movie to recommend, don't
Alex
you?
Does.
Yes, me.
I hope you thought about it.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got thought about it.
All right.
So this time, seeing as my first choice was kind of a UK-based film, I thought I'd go with my other homeland, a film from there. I was born in New Zealand, so I like films from New Zealand.
A Kiwi.
So my recommendation is a Taika Waititi film from 2010 called Boy. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not.
Haven't seen it.
I haven't.
Have you seen it, Adam?
God, another one.
No, I have not.
Awesome! I did it again.
Yeah,
we did it.
I also have not seen
yeah.
Hunt for the Wilder People, but yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, this guy's one of my favorite directors.
Awesome.
I look forward to seeing what you guys think.
All right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Anybody listening to the podcast, you should also check out this film before the next episode, which will be 2 weeks from now, because we will be having a spoiler discussion on this film, Boy, by Taika.
Yeah, I hope it's
Waititi.
easy to find because the last one I picked was kind of a nightmare for some people
Yeah.
to actually get their hands on. But it's probably out there somewhere.
All right, thank
But
you.
most importantly, listen to my channel and watch my channel and subscribe.
Yeah, that's.
I'm the best YouTuber, #1.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for
for coming
joining
on.
us.
Yeah, thank you.
Fandango.
Thanks for having me on. It's been fun. It's been very fun.
We did it.